to provide fairness to this body and, more importantly, to the people of this state. The question is before us with this amendment, why here and why now? And for just a moment, ladies and gentlemen, I would ask you to set your passions aside. Set the merits of the proposal aside and think about the form of government that we all swore an oath to uphold. A law has passed this chamber, signed into law by the governor of this state, that our Supreme Court has declared unconstitutional and has struck that from our code books. It is our system of government that provides checks and balances. No one institution, the executive, the legislative, or the Supreme Court, has final say. There is no final arbiter other than the people. Ladies and gentlemen, under our constitutional form of government and division among the branches, we have not only the right, but I would argue the obligation to revisit decisions of the court that strike our laws down as unconstitutional. And we all know there's precedence for this. In the last biennium, the court struck down law that we had placed on the books protecting our flag from desecration. No one washed their hands of the affair and said, well, the court had the final say, there's nothing we can do. Instead, this chamber started the process of remedying the court's decision. We didn't like the court's decision, and while we may complain about it or complain about the justices, ultimately it comes down to us as a chamber to decide whether or not we will remedy that situation. We have two remedies available to us. One is a statutory change that meets the requirements of the court, or we may change the Constitution, as I am suggesting today. It is, ladies and gentlemen, this chamber, the House of Representatives, that I believe more than any other in state government that was designed to reflect the will of the people. That's why we stand for election every 2 years, as opposed to the Senate or the governor's office. That's why there are so many of us representing smaller districts, so we are closer to the people. If it is the will of the people of this state that same-sex marriage be the law of the land, then this body ought to reflect the will of the people and pass that into law. If it is the will of the people of this state that marriage be an institution between a man and a woman, then it is this body that should reflect the will of the people to do that. And we have. Not once in this chamber, but twice in this chamber. Ladies and gentlemen, today is the day for this body to speak again and to express the will of the people. It is not only our right to do so under the Constitution, I would argue it is our obligation to do so, and we have designed a system of self-governance for this chamber that allows each and every one of us to express that right and that obligation. And I would encourage us today to take advantage of it by debating and supporting Amendment 1521. I would be happy to answer any questions.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Polk, Representative McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a point of parliamentary inquiry as to whether this amendment to the amendment is in order to this budget bill, House File 811.
Would the gentleman from Woodbury and the gentleman from Polk please approach the well?